This is the Math 2 lesson summary video for the lesson entitled, How Do You Know That? In Lesson 5, How Do You Know That? The purpose of the lesson was to determine when we accept something as true based on experimentation versus knowing something is true based on logical reasoning. We focused specifically on proving to be true the fact that the sum of the angles of any triangle is equivalent to 180 degrees. There were two vocabulary words that you want to write down in your notebook. Inductive reasoning is making conjectures or educated guesses based on experimentation using several examples. And deductive reasoning is using properties, definitions, and statements that have been assumed to be true, which we call postulates, or they've been proven to be true, which we call theorems.
So in experiment 1, we were asked to cut out a triangle, which I have here, and we were asked to tear off the three corners, the angles of the triangle, and arrange the vertices so that they meet at a single point. So I'm going to demonstrate what we did in class. So there's one angle, and there's another angle, and then we were asked to put them together so that they meet at one point. And if you take a look at this, you notice that all three of the angles meet at one point, and if I take my straight edge or my ruler, I can definitely see that they make a line. So in experiment 1, we were using this experiment to help us show that the sum of the three angles add to 180 degrees, but we haven't tried all triangles. We've only tried the ones that we did in class. So in experiment 2, what they asked us to do as we were given this triangle and we were asked to trace it on a sheet of white paper, which I've done already for us. And then what we were asked to do is locate the midpoints of the sides by folding the paper so that the sides coincide and the vertices meet. So as you can see, this is me demonstrating one midpoint, okay? And then what they asked to do is they wanted us to rotate my triangle 180 degrees about that midpoint. So if I put my pencil here and I were to rotate this 180 degrees, it would lie directly like so. And then I would just redraw it. And I'm going to label my numbered angles. In class we used crayons to color them. So this is 1. This was 3, and this was 2. And then again, we had folded our paper on this side so that we could get the midpoint, and we were asked to rotate it one more time. So we rotate it one more time on that 180 degrees on that midpoint, and I will trace that one again for us. Like so. And then I'm going to label the angles. So this was angle 2, this was angle 1, and this is angle 3. So right here you can see that my three angles, 1, 2, and 3, which were in my original triangle, make up this straight angle or this line. So we know that they add to 180 degrees. So in the second experiment, we did demonstrate that when we rotated our initial triangle 180 degrees, it formed a parallelogram, which was this first shape. And then when we rotated it a second time, we could see that our translated image became a trapezoid. And so what's important here is that we now can see that those three angles will create 180 degrees because of that line.
In this lesson, we specifically explored two different ways of knowing that the sum of the angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. In experiment 1, we looked at specific triangles and based on experimentation, and one based on a transformational argument in experiment 2 that can be applied to all triangles. So in conclusion, we did make sure that in our notes we had the multiple ways of knowing and determining if something is true. So we can accept it on authority. We can try it out, multiple examples, similar to what we did in experiment 1 with our different triangles. We can make an argument based on a diagram or a representation, and we can make an argument based on previously proved statements and logical ways of reasoning. So in experiment 2, we could see logically that when we rotated our figure about the midpoint 180 degrees, that it created a trapezoid. If we rotated it twice, it created a trapezoid which showed visually that angle 1 plus 2 plus 3 lie on a line making the sum of the angles in any triangle 180 degrees. If you need more help on the Ready, Set, Go homework for this task, please remember to check the Canvas Student Support site.